Thank you very much, Gary, and that's time.
That's a wrap. Thank you very much.
I've told you not to bring me bird up on the podcast. Shut up, lad. My bird come in the other day and went, listen.
He didn't say anything about it, did he?
No, my bird come and went, stop talking about me on the podcast.
That's me though, I brought her up though.
No, lad. She specifically told you, lad. Fucking stop it.
Why?
It's fine.
Dad, it's not though, because she specifically said not to do it, lads.
Shut up, lads.
No, lads, don't tell me to fucking shut up,
Not a
lads.
big deal, mate. What's
Fucking shut up, lads. Fucking ass, lad.
No, but that's my fault though.
Dad, it's me who's gonna fucking get it though,
Lad,
lads.
he brought it up,
Nah,
lads. Calm down.
He'll let us out though, don't worry about
It's not
that.
a big deal, bro. Honestly, don't worry.
Make him feel uncomfortable, lad.
What?
Make him feel uncomfortable.
What ass, lad? She specifically told you, lad. She specifically told you not to, lad. Lad, you can't just... No, lad, fuck this off, lad. I can't be fucking hard, mate.
Ah, if I get used in trouble. So
Yeah,
smart.
no.
Yeah, he's got it.
Jay,
What, lad?
come here.
No, fuck off.
Please, come here, lad. We've got a guest, mate.
Do you know what, right? Used to be good. Used to be good. So, am I the first in the loft?
You are, lad?
But you won't be the last, mate.
Oh.
But you're the first.
He said that before.
New and exclusive, innit, Jay?
Have we started?
I assume so, yeah. And I've just realised me going, woo! Yeah, so we're in the loft.
Lee Loft.
Le loft. Le chambre.
Is that French for the loft, lad, is it?
Think so, yeah.
We'll never know.
I know that, yeah. Episode 29, Gary Hyland. Now Then podcast.
Now Then
KCC
podcast.
Live. What else?
Ah, look at him plugging
What
in.
else do you want us to plug?
Comedian.
Fat ginger knobhead, I don't know.
Just move over a bit there for the... And for those who didn't know, sorry, Jay, Gary is famous and has a podcast, don't you?
I am famous and I have a podcast.
Show them, man.
Do you
Show
know
the
what,
people.
right? Where am I? Yeah, look, ready? I am famous. Do you know what, right?
Wait, it's me.
Funny that, innit?
I talk about the podcast and work all the time, and one of the lads in work always goes to me, I'm famous, I've got a podcast. So for me 30th, he bought me this. Wow. And do you know what, right? Because you don't fucking answer your phone straight away, I'm still at your door for 10 minutes, like waiting outside, and some fellas pissed themselves at me fucking hoodie. That's why I put my leaflet behind my back. I was like, oh, some fellas just laughing at me. I was like, no, man, forgot all about it.
That was been me daughter. Like, Gary's outside, get him.
Yeah. Don't laugh at us, hoodie.
I'm actually only messing. You're
He's
not
coming
allowed,
out.
man, Dad.
He's coming around for some of that money after you watch them on the nest with your man. Come back.
Listen, I'm getting on in 12 months, lad. And for those who don't know what we're talking about, watch the Now Then podcast, episode 22.
His mum come round for tea the other day, and I think Christina brought it up, or someone brought it up, and he's like, no, mum, you don't want to know. You don't want to know.
I know, I said to him,
I was
Mum,
like, you definitely don't want to know.
Mum, listen, I've just done a podcast. You can watch it if you want, but I want you, you were talking about in a not an explicit manner. But
R-rated.
Yeah. So, Mum, if you're listening, I'll give you the 10%.
But if you do want to know, I'm not going to tell you. Go back and watch.
But yeah, episode 29, we're here with Gary today. So we invited Gary on after we come on your podcast. Yeah. And how is your podcast going, by the way?
My podcast.
The podcast?
Yeah.
How's it going? It's going. That's about it.
Yeah.
Thoroughly enjoying it. Boss guests. It's nice meeting new people and stuff. My views and downloads could be better, but I only promote on my own social and stuff anyway. So
yeah. We feel like that ourselves.
You're doing well though, mate. You're getting
all right.
We feel like that as well. We could our views and downloads could be more, but it's all part of the journey, innit?
It is.
When we take over, lad, when we're in our penthouse,
we're in the penthouse now. Penthouse studio.
Penthouse flats in fucking Barbados or something. Wouldn't be a flat, would it? Be like an apartment.
A flat in Barbados, lad.
Yeah, I'm living in Barbados.
A little
in a
studio
high-rise.
like the ones on Everton Valley, lad.
Sure, it's fine, mad. Sorry, just completely changed the subject. But Americans call the Caribbean, don't they?
I can't deal with it.
I heard it the other day. I was like,
do you know what though? Right, my kids are turning into Americans because of YouTube. They literally watch YouTube all day, and like Lila comes downstairs, she's like, you're gonna put the trash out. I'm like, you want to get out? Fucking trash.
Put
It's,
you out.
it's the rub, yeah. Where's Lennon's pacifier? I was like, I've had enough now. Get out.
yeah.
Yeah, can't deal with it. Can't
Telling
deal
you to stop at the petty station for gas.
Yeah, we're gonna get gas. Something
Yeah.
like that.
Well, some candy.
You're getting adopted, mate. That's what's happening. I'm gonna start all that shit, you know what I mean?
It's the influence, mate. The
bad.
influence of YouTube.
It's bad, I know.
But going to yourself, Gary. So you got your finger in many pies.
Yeah.
Many pies.
Yeah.
Many pies, yeah. So where it all started then. So last year, height of lockdown, sat there with my bed and the 3 kids, and I was like, this is graft, living with these 3. Do you know what I mean? So I'm only messing. No, I love comedy. I love chatting shit. I love the sound of my own voice. I love being a centre of attention. So for years, I've thought about like stand-up comedy and just never ever done it. Wrote a few bits of material and all that, and then talking in front of people, you know, just like mates and all that, it's different from being on stage. In work, when I had to present, I was always dead nervous and scared, so I was like not really ready. Signed up for a few open mic nights and got up, like when I got to it, I just crumbled and I couldn't do it. But in lockdown, I was like, everyone could be dead tomorrow. Like, you know, everyone's fucking shagging bats and everything. Like, people are dying everywhere. So I was like,
Bodies in the streets.
exactly, yeah. So I was like, it's now or never. So I just started writing, getting my head into the laptop, getting some material down, and then started emailing people for like open mic nights and like gigs. And it wasn't really getting any sort of feedback because it was lockdown. They were like, oh, we're not open yet and all that. And then there's a competition in Manchester called Beat the Frog at the Frog and Bucket. It's a famous comedy club where it's a gong show. So you've got to perform. 3 audience members get given a card. If they don't like your material, the card goes up. If all 3 cards go up, you're out. If you survive the 5 minutes, you get through. So that was my baptism of fire. That was my first ever gig.
Yeah.
And I beat the Frog, so it was successful. Boss buzz, but split the crowd with my material, like, because some of the material got dark quite quick, and they just didn't know how to deal with it. You know what I mean?
remember you phoning us, Gary, and I thought I'll have a little look at it.
Go on.
I clicked on your stand-up things, and it was about you saying that you think that ginger babies.
Yeah.
I can't remember what I don't want to say this incorrect.
All right. So what I said was, so I started off by saying,
You just didn't want to say it at all.
No.
So
I don't know what it
started
is,
off
yeah.
by saying ginger should be a disability, right? That's how I started, and then I say,
For those listening, Gary is ginger. Yeah, just for anyone listening,
I'm
Gary's ginger.
sure they can fucking smell me through the fucking headphones anyway. But that's how I started up. So I've got a couple of jokes lining up. So I started to attack the gingers and say ginger should be a disability.
And then self-deprecating.
Yeah, basically. And then I say, yeah, you know when you're pregnant and you go for your 22-week scan,
Yeah.
and you
I'm
get
onto that, yeah.
and you go for checks to see if the baby's got Down syndrome or developmental issues.
Yeah.
There should be a scan to see if the baby's got ginger hair, and they should give you the option for termination because nobody wants a ginger baby. That's my joke. So that's what he's talking about.
And then split the crowd,
That was my first thing I seen the Gary. I was
Why
like,
have you not shown me this?
follow.
And that weren't the worst. That weren't the bit that split the crowd.
Are you going to split the crowd here, or?
I said, do you want me to?
That's-
I'll over that. So sorry. So
We can edit it out, don't
if
we?
you don't want, so basically, for those who don't know, my dad committed suicide, right? So I set the joke up by saying I love saying things that make people feel dead awkward.
Yeah.
So I was talking about a story in work where some of the lads were talking about their 13-year-old son standing up to him on the weekend.
Yeah.
So he squared up to him and all that. So they were all having a conversation about how old they were when they first stood up to their dads or when their kids stood up to them and all that.
And did this actually happen?
So there's a lad in work, yeah.
yeah.
This happened, the story in work, yeah. It's a true story. All my comedies, virtually 2 stories. I
Yeah.
just, tweak it a little
Yeah.
bit to try and find the funny in it. And he shouted over to me, hey, Gary, what about you and your old fella, lad? And I just went, well, it'd be like hitting a punch bag, wouldn't it? Because he hung himself. And the whole room just went quiet. So I said that joke. And I could
Did you do that laugh? Did you laugh, or did you wait?
No, I done that laugh. I done that high-pitched laugh, right? And then I done a couple of other touchy jokes afterwards. And I've got the video on my phone of the whole show. So when I come off stage, the compere got back on and he was like, that started off much lighter than it ended. He said, but to be fair, Gary's got the best defence mechanism with that laugh. A bit about me dead dad. I just started laughing and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So I've learned to use certain jokes in certain crowds, not everywhere, because that...
You're not going to know till you use it, though, are you? Like,
Yeah.
how would you know where it's going to split the crowd? until
Yeah,
you've
you
tried
don't.
it?
You don't.
I seen a thing and it was like a lot of comedians come to Liverpool to do to practice new material.
Yeah.
Because you know if it works here, it'll work everywhere else.
Yeah, I get that.
Tough crowd.
It's...
Not a tough crowd, but
I
know
don't know.
what's funny.
Yeah, they do know what's funny, but it's as a Liverpool person,
Yeah.
it's a little bit different because they hear your voice, they hear your accent, they know your sense of humour, they get it. But it's scary how just traveling 30-40 minutes down the road, it's just a completely different audience.
Yeah.
The biggest thing about comedy that I've learned so far is you've got to learn to, read your room and be able to change the direction you're going in. Whereas, because I'm only new to it, I have a set in my head and I'll go and I'll deliver that set.
Regardless.
And I'm like, I'm dying on my arse here. I don't have anywhere to go. And I'm quite quick-witted, but when like the crowd aren't reacting or they're overreacting and they're sort of heckling you, the inner me wants to react. But in comedy, there's a fine line of reacting to a heckler and just insulting someone completely.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be myself and be like, because I was doing a gig in the Fantail in Kirby. Don't know if you've ever been to the Fantail.
Yeah,
it's one of the roughest boozers in the world, right? So I'm trying to perform.
If not the.
Yeah, if not the, yeah, exactly. Do you know what I mean? And
I'm only messing. It's a lovely pub for anyone from Turkey.
it's fucking no. And I was delivering this joke. And it was about walking in on my ma with a fella's sword in her mouth, right? That was the joke.
So
And,
eloquently put.
Yeah, so eloquently put, yeah. And this girl was like, hey, that's fucking disgusting. And I was like, I've seen you order cocaine off him across the room openly. You've just been snorting lines of lemon off his fucking pipe in the toilet and everything. And I felt like saying, you're fucking disgusting. And I just went, yeah, I am. Okay. I just moved on. I was like, because do I want to get stabbed? No, I don't.
Works for people like Frankie Allen, though, doesn't it? Like the first time I heard of
That's
Frankie
a different
Allen,
circuit,
one of
though,
my
you know.
mates was like, get on this fella here, leathering people. And then when I told my dad was like, oh, Frankie
Yeah, I
Allen,
know
yeah,
Frankie
that's his thing. But I just thought it was just some fella
Yeah.
who was just fucking.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, he's keen him. I was like, yeah. But then I realised that's his bit. And like, that's, So
But
it
the
does
thing-
work.
In comedy, though, there's two sides to the circuit.
Yeah.
So there's a sort of hot water comedy club, Paul Smith side of the circuit.
Yeah.
And then there's the Frankie Allen old school side, like Chubby Brown and all that.
Yeah.
So there's two different sides of the comedy circuit. But that Frankie
You
Allen
have to
side,
pick your side.
effectively, it's quite clicky.
Is it like Liverpool and Everton? Like,
Yeah, we're in
just that one,
we're
you
in
can't-
Lonsdale Webs and everything.
So is it one more like underground and one more mainstream? Is that a thing or not really? No.
It's more like so like comedy clubs and boozers is one side, and then like
pubs and clubs and shit.
yeah,
that.
like like social clubs and like cruises and all that. That's
Yeah.
a sort of more like a cabaret sort of. I'm not
Yeah.
saying the cabaret, but that sort
More
of
that sort of
venue.
side,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah.
where do you want to go? Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? I know this.
Hopefully not this fat anyway.
What would you love to get from comedy? What do you have any like goals or is there any dreams that you have from doing your comedy at all?
I think he was the coach, wouldn't you?
I know, yeah.
You spend so much of your time on it.
So where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I don't know because it's very long-winded, the comedy sort of career, and people who aren't in the comedy world don't appreciate it. Like I've done 2 gigs and people are like, when are you working on Hot Water, lad? When are you getting your first paid gig? And I'm like,
When are you going to be on 8 out of 10 cats, Gary?
exactly. I am not made for the telly.
You know?
No.
You are, lad. Like these cameras.
Listen, all right.
These cameras.
Right,
You have the position and not
alright,
they won't
I'm
say it
not-
on you.
Not made for the telly. I mean,
The material.
mainstream TV,
Yeah.
like ITV and all that, because they will just cut my material down
Yeah.
straight away. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, like you can't put a sort of time on when you're gonna be, massive or when you're gonna turn pro. You've got to learn the trade. You've got to travel like 100 miles to do a 5-minute set down south for nothing. Do you know what I mean? You've got to put the work into it. And I am dedicated and invested in it, but with 3 kids, a full-time job now, the pod and everything, I can't be going doing 5 gigs a week because I'll never see my family. So I've got to pick and choose. So I do it because I love it. Do I see a career out of it right now? No, because you've got to be head and shoulders above everyone to earn your bread like from it, and there's people out there well better than me. So, but it's
early though, aren't you? Do you know what I mean?
I am, yeah, but with the pod and everything now, that's sort of not where my sole focus is, but that's where a lot of my attention's going because I'm in control of all that. Whereas with gigs, I'm on the Facebook comedy forum and I'll apply for 100 gigs a week, and I just get, don't know yet, you're unknown, don't know what you're about, and it's word of mouth sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I tried to do some videos of my footage. The problem is doing videos too early. You haven't nailed your jokes. Your punchlines aren't perfect, but then people have that perception of you. So then it's like he's not that good. But then when you get famous, as soon as you put a joke online, or when I say famous, when you get some form of following from comedy, when you put a joke online, that joke's effectively dead. You can't use that in a club anymore because everyone's seen it.
Yeah.
So like when Hot Water put all their jokes online, when it's an actual bit, the likelihood of a comedian using that again is very slim.
Yeah, because they're known for that then,
Yeah, because they're known for that joke. People are expecting that punchline. Whereas Paul Smith, when he compares, he's reacting to the crowd there and
So you
then.
can just
So
bring
his
it up.
videos fly because
Yeah.
it's unique to that situation. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I see. In 5 years, I'd hopefully like to see myself earning money from comedy. But
It's for me.
yeah,
You definitely can.
Yeah.
It's for.
I've got nothing but a grin in my face, lads, when you're around, Gary.
I just sell my ass if not. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's always,
Some people are into some mad kinks, aren't they?
there's always that. I know what he's into, mate.
Fat ginger sweating on you.
I'll see you after the show.
Yes, you will.
Well, in terms of how you got into podcasting and that then, so did you start it all at once? Or did you do comedy, thinking I'm going to do the podcast? And then obviously we know how the radio's come about, we'll touch on that in a moment. But
yeah.
where did you kind of decide, do you know what, I'm going to do this? And also, can I just add as well, lad, hats off to you. You do everything. We've got this handsome soul behind the camera, yeah?
We have.
And he does what we don't like, but what he loves, so it's perfect. Proper David Brent. But you,
Synergy.
when we come, first of all, when we come to your place and you're at the place, looking cynic. The Minerva Liverpool Podcast Studios.
And the Now Then podcast.
And Now Then
Synergy, yeah.
But
Do you want to explain that to the audio only listeners?
for the audio only listeners, I was just putting each
His
four
fingers
fingers
together.
together like David Brent. Go.
It's like the owl.
Google it.
Open Dad's, open Uncle's undies.
Jesus. But anyway, we got there. What was I saying? Oh yeah, we got there and you'd had everything set up.
Yeah.
Told us that you just done everything yourself. You was recording whilst you was hosting and that.
Yeah.
And the fucking research you do as well, mate. Like you do a lot. And you've got five kids. Is it?
Fucking no. 3 kids.
3 kids. Okay. You got 3 kids. 3 kids. A family.
Yeah.
A job, lad. You do comedy. You do this. You do the radio
show, yeah.
radio show. And that's a lot to take on to someone
It is.
who doesn't know what they're doing. So how did you get going at the start?
So, started the stand-up in September.
Yeah.
And then I just like talking, having a laugh and all that. And I'd watched and listened to pods for some time. And I was like, since a kid, I always dreamed of being on the radio. That was a dream of mine.
Yeah.
But life took me down a different avenue, you know, with kids and stuff. I had to earn money.
Face for radio, as they say.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Yeah.
what Jay says to me.
Got a face for radio,
Not
like.
you, mate.
Throwing insults everywhere.
No,
look at him.
that's what Jay says to me.
Little fucking rat. Sorry, always had the dream of being on radio, but
Yes.
I couldn't do it. I've got 3 kids. I had a job. I couldn't just press the reset button and start again because I've dependents and all that. So I was like, the podcast, it's the same sort of format. It's me talking on a microphone, people listening if they want to listen. So I was like, I can do that on my own.
Yeah.
So I started looking at it. I was like, okay, so set up sort of, got my Buzzsprout going, set up ideas, what I wanted. And I kind of jumped into it really soon. Got everything set up. And then I just like stopped for a few weeks. I was like, where am I taking this? What's my format going to be? You know, what sort of audience am I going to be trying to reach to? And I just didn't know what to do. So I jumped in it really, really quick and then just slowed down. And then one night I just said to Mel, listen, I need to start this. Let's go and make a pilot. So I called it Now Then. And the premise behind Now Then was I was going to talk about 3 topics happening now in the news. And the then is I asked the guests, you know, what their future holds. So me and Mel done a pilot. Then I got like my brother around the next day. I was just like, I'm excited now. I'm in it. Let's start recording.
We were
Yeah.
after the first
I
one.
can't
Oh my
sleep, mate.
I was like, let's
Couldn't
go.
sleep in
Exactly,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I had my brother in, then I had like a few mates in and stuff. And it just grew from there. The premise has slightly changed now because
Don't we know it?
the
God
more-
us, mate.
the more interesting guests I have on with like a following, their followers don't want to see them talk about fucking something in the paper. They want to know about their story. So I keep the 3 topics and tailor it around them, then play my game and then ask about the future. So it's kind of still there, but instead of random topics, it's more tailored about the guests. Because
Yeah.
if you listen to my first episode, we talk about chippy tits, music events and Apple's new headphones. That was what we talk about rather
Yeah.
than my brother's life, you know what I mean? So, but yeah.
Boss, mate. I love
So-
it. It's a bell to the podcast. Like,
Nice one.
the research is, if
Oh,
anyone
no,
hasn't
I
watched it,
would-
go and watch it.
I weren't expecting it. I was sat down straight away. Still anti-bird about sticky fingers. I was like,
Do you know what does me head in though? the intro, so I mentioned sticky fingers, and like, it's still lying to your bed and all that. And then as I go to talk about it, I called them skinny fingers. Have you got onto it?
Nah.
Listen back, right? So I talk about sticky fingers, and then the second time I go to talk about it, I called them skinny fingers, and I'm like, oh, it's not it.
You should have called himself Skinny Fingers, shouldn't you?
Not more of a
Missed
knobhead
it,
than
sir.
him lying about seeing sticky fingers. though.
Lad, you know what? I'll say to the viewers now who haven't seen it, it's my only way in. Do you know what I mean?
He loves the chase.
Do you know when the conversation's very little,
Yeah.
and you need something to spice it
Yeah.
up? The only thing I had was that she likes sticky fingers. That was the only thing. And I did like sticky fingers as well.
But you hadn't seen them.
I hadn't seen them live. No, I'd seen them on YouTube.
They're
and
not the
that's
sticky
over.
fingers he meant, lad.
And now we've both seen them together.
No, they haven't been on tour for a year.
Has she showered them yet?
Touchy subject.
I was gonna say that. We're going next to the radio station, so KCC Live.
I love it, mate. I love it.
How did the obviously I think you told us on the podcast, well, the people who haven't watched the podcast
Yeah.
yet, explain how it come about.
Come about. So so basically feedback I was getting from some of the guests and all that. Some of the feedback I was getting from the guests where you're really professional at this. Obviously I F and Jeff and say all kinds, but like the time and effort you put in, the research you put in.
Yeah.
You're a really good host, you know.
I'd
You
agree,
should sort of
100%,
think
yeah.
about the radio, and I was like,
Do you want to swap? You do have a good host.
and it reignited that flame from when I was a kid about wanting to get on the radio, and I was like, should I? And then I was like, how do we go about it? So I was looking at some radio stations and the likes of Radio City and like In Demand and stuff. You've got to apply, like there's official like application forms and all that, and you've got to go through the academy and that. So I was just looking at like community-based radio stations and smaller ones, and then I messaged KCC and I was just like, is there any way I can join the team in any capacity, just helping out? I didn't know what their sort of structure was in the show, in the station.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know, fucking make cups of teas, wipe your ass, anything. I'm not asked, just to start, just to sort of get in the building. And they were like, yeah, we'll set up a Zoom and we'll have a conversation and see what sort of avenue you want to go down. So I had a Zoom with the station manager, Zoom meeting, and said to him, you know, I have a podcast. I want to present long term. That's my goal. And he was like, okay. He was like, do you want to put your podcast on the station? And I was like, hell no. I was like, it's too explicit. I can't do that. Like the demographic of KCC is like 12 to 28 years of age. I was like, I can't be talking to 12-year-olds asking them, do they want to suck off tampons and all that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't say shit like that. So I was like, no, I want it to be a separate project. I want it to be me just talking crap and me love for music and stuff. And he was like, okay, create as a demo and we'll go from there. So created a demo over the weekend, sent it to him. He said to me, I'll get back to you in a few weeks because he was busy. And then he got back to me. He didn't even get back to me. I got added to the team group on Facebook and he just put a post up saying Gary's joining us as a presenter. And I was just like, fucking sick. So yeah, joined him as a presenter. I have Monday nights, 10 till midnight at the minute. So
Boss.
yeah, it's on.
Take you on the drive time home, lad, every night.
The drive home.
The drive home.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Hey, you're welcome to KCC Live.
It's weird though because the station's on a college campus. Well, I sound like me American kids now, campus. In
college?
Yeah.
And they're all on the college campus. And they're all smoking.
Gary's just a sophomore, you know?
He's got an American accent. You sound like you're from Scam, lad. Pack it in.
Well, lad, you know, I'm actually quite good at accents. That just didn't go very well.
Good one. No.
What do you want me to
Give
do?
him one.
Nigerian.
No, not Nigerian. Something else. I'm not doing that.
Yeah. Give me an accent that
Give
I
me an
can
accent,
do,
I'll do it.
is what he means. Give me an accent that I can do.
I can do most
He's
accents.
Scottish, isn't he?
All right then. Scam. Go on.
You speak, lad. You can do it for me.
Well, I'll leave your accents then.
Yeah. So what he's saying there is you can't do accents.
Yeah.
I can't.
So what you're saying is that like all these freshmen on campus
Yeah.
drinking a soda.
In a fraternity.
Oh my God.
Because it's on a college site, the opening hours for the station are capped to like 7 o'clock max because that's when the college closes. Because it started as the college radio
It's
station.
mad how big that's gone, isn't
It's a
it?
separate entity now. It doesn't belong to the
Oh,
college
is it?
anymore.
Yeah.
They just rent the facility off the college.
Yeah.
And so the doors close at 7 o'clock. So
Is that
any
in KB?
yeah,
KCC?
uh,
Oh,
I've never been in a station because
oh,
of
did you
COVID.
record the show? Oh,
Yeah, because of
Might be
COVID.
in the
Yeah.
scam, you know.
So
Might actually be in the scam,
on
lad.
one of the roundabouts, on one of the many roundabouts.
Lad, there's so many, isn't there?
It's bizarre.
I went to uni in Ormskirk and I'd never been to Scam before, and you've got to do a course and you've got to go to Scam to do it.
Do you have to get like a vaccination to go to Scam or anything?
You have to wear a hazmat suit.
KCC's in Knowsley Heights, apparently.
Yeah.
It's in Hyland, is it? Yeah.
Knowsley Community College, yeah. And yeah, I say so. The station is closed at 7 o'clock, so you can't get onto site. So anyone who does the late shows has to do it remotely, or you can book a slot in the. You don't do it live. You can book a slot at the station and pre-record your full show at the station using all their equipment, and then it just gets programmed at your desired time. I've had no formal training on any of the equipment because of COVID restrictions. It was tighter. You're only allowed so many people. Opening hours were so much. So I just use my podcast equipment and record at home. A little bit more difficult because I don't do a full show. I pick my playlist of what songs I want to play, and then I just record all my links as separate files. Send me playlists, send me links, send me running order, and then the engineer programs me show in that order. So it's a bit weird, especially because on a podcast you're talking to someone, you're more natural.
Yeah.
Doing the radio show, I'm on my own.
Do you have a radio voice?
I do my phone voice and everything, and I hate it. I'm like, hello. Like, stop it, you know what I mean? So it's weird. But yeah, doing like a 30-second link, it takes me about 40 times.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's mad. I was on the radio at the start of the year.
Oh, I didn't shut up about it.
On the back of his jumper, it says I was on the radio.
I'm famous. I was on the radio. It was mad because obviously we're used to this and we know how like this works, this operates. Well, we've seen Jacob do it. No, but we know like, oh, we edit this, put this in, do you know what I mean? And the flow, when you watch a podcast, that's how it usually is recorded, unless you cut certain R-rated stuff out. But when I was on the radio, so they were like, oh yeah, the show will be on at set, you'll be on like 7:20. I was like, okay. No, but we're going to ring you at 6:30. I was like, bit early, innit? It's warming me up. And then he rang me. It was like a Zoom, asked me a few questions and that. And like, it was just so like, he'd ask me a question and go, okay, yeah. Anyway, and asked me the next question, and I was like, wow. And then the order of the questions, let's say, asked me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. It went like 1, 5, 4, 2, 3. And I was like, wow, that's... My mum was like, that's mad, Dan. I was like, that's not the conversation I had with him on the radio. It wasn't bad. It wasn't taken out of context, but like, they missed the question out, chopped it all up, and I was like, I realised that's like so edited. And that's why like... reality shows and stuff, they can make someone look terrible because it's out of context and stuff. Yeah. And like when someone else has the power, the creative control.
Yeah. And that's why he looks like Monty Burns there, doesn't he? Excellent. But going back to sort of the comedy and being on the TV.
Looking good next to your little self-portraits there, bro.
What is it? A moose's knuckle?
Is that a chimp and a moose knuckle? Is it a chimp?
Yeah. You wizard,
an orangutan, yeah.
You wizard.
It's a fucking package now.
That is a little pecker though on me.
That's the same size as mine, mate. I've got a pair of socks in my kecks there. Don't worry about that. But going back to comedy,
it's the proper admiral beard, lads. Like like you run a ship, lads.
I was in.
You can see it on this.
I was in the kitchen and I just brushed all my beard up and done like a little minge fringe and come into the living room. My bear was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Like,
gotta get a photo.
Yeah,
of that. A great big bushy beard.
Lad, you look like you're about to come going to Games Workshop or something.
I'm working for an SEX.
Game of Thrones.
Sorry, CEX in a sex, isn't it?
Game of Thrones. I like it.
You've got to get a job in like somewhere like fucking CEX or Game Station. You just got to stink, haven't you? You know what I mean? Like,
stink and wear a leather jacket.
I seen a tweet the other day saying
you can smash windows with your socks at that crusty. Do you know what I mean?
I seen a tweet the other day and it's like, oh my god, nature is healing. And it was a picture of the leather shop open.
How is that shop still alive?
I say all the time, there has to be a front and a drug, money laundering, because that's prime retail in the centre of town. Everything else lasts like a year or two. That's been there since I was like 5, 6.
How long's it been, anything?
Years, lad.
Years.
Yeah, since before I was born.
Since I can remember. Since I can remember. That's been there. But I've never been in there.
Have you ever had a leather jacket?
Nah.
Haven't you?
Nah.
What about you?
I've got leather kecks, like.
His face.
Leather
I was in them wearing
leather kecks with a hole in the bum.
Christine Aguilera everywhere, out of dirty. Going back to comedy then, about saying sort of edited and all that, being on the TV, that's what my biggest concern is. So I follow loads of different stand-up comedians and now they're breaking into TV and stuff. Yeah. And they've spoke about, they'll go down and they'll record a 9-minute set for the TV show and they'll edit the fuck out of it and only air 90 seconds of it.
Yeah.
And they'll cut punchlines and like they'll build a joke, and it's not the original joke, and
Yeah.
it's still funny, but
It's not what they said.
it's not what you've wrote. It's not what
Yeah.
you've said. Your name's against that then. So then you could be, perceived as something that you're not. So that's why if I'd have to write much cleaner and better for the TV anyway. And then if it's going to get edited completely. So
That's why people love podcasts, because it's so authentic and raw. And like,
organic, you said last time. I love that word. Yeah.
organic,
And the people who do it have got full control.
Yeah.
creative control. Yeah.
It's like, I can imagine if you like, especially like music and like if you're involved in radio and television, like a lot of the time you're working with people, producers, record labels, and they have control of what is coming out.
Yeah.
I was telling my mate the other day, like the Arctic Monkeys is still on the same record label they were when they first started.
Boston.
Because they had complete control of the music, do you know what I mean? It's not like somebody's going,
You're
need
the
to do something a bit more commercially,
Yeah,
do you know what
yeah.
I mean?
They haven't jumped ship straight away because of money, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
they,
of course.
They love that creative control, like you said, so I agree
The most
with that.
important thing, I reckon, having your own creative control. Imagine doing a podcast and somebody else like had creative control
But
over it.
there's podcasts, not podcast studios, but there's podcast labels now where like they can buy a portion of your podcast.
Yeah.
So they're like, you can't.
They have control of
By
that.
the way, if you are listening, we are up for sale.
That's like the opposite of what a podcast is. But I suppose everything probably starts off like that, don't they? Like radio started off like pirate radio, and then the business, the man realised like if we buy that, we can control that, and everything just goes that way, doesn't it?
It depends what you're in it for. Obviously, we all want financial gains from it. I'm not
independently. Can't
exactly. I'm not saying I don't want to earn money from my podcast. I do.
Yeah.
But if someone was to come up and knock our ass tomorrow and be like, yeah, we want to pay you 500 quid a month for your podcast, but we want to write all your material, change all your format, I'd be like, fucking see you later.
It's selling yourself and then selling out.
Yeah.
Two different things, aren't they?
You're involved in another podcast
Selling
as well,
yourself and selling your soul.
Yes, I've got a second project.
Don't stop that, dude.
So basically what it was, so I'm sponsored by Mogwai CBD. Look at me plugging him there.
Link in the description.
So I went to meet him. He's a sort of creative guy himself. So he was like messaging me, voice noting me, like, I've got ideas for the pod, wants to get involved and all that. And I was a bit overwhelmed at first because I was like, I don't know him. I reached out to him, asked, did he want to sponsor me pod? He agreed and stuff. So I only had conversations via WhatsApp voice notes and stuff, so I didn't know who he was or anything about him. So he was like, I've got this.
I know you did. Like, you do your research. You
my
was probably
research.
messaging his Mars ex-husband.
I was on him, lads, you know what I mean? It was all right,
CID
lad. Crosby intruded. Was it CIA? Me mate got a job for CIA one day. He's like, lad, I've just joined the CIA. And I was like, fuck off, lad. He was like, yeah, Crosby intruded alarms, lad. Yeah, CIA on his job for yeah. How funny is that?
That's about that.
How funny is that?
That's boss.
And yeah, so like he messaged me, he was like, lad, I've got all these ideas, got this guest, I want to do this, want to do that. And I was like, scared, because I was like, I don't want to take my podcast in a completely different avenue. I've worked hard to create what I've created so far. Yes, it's not massive, but it's mine. And I was like, what do we do? So he was like, come meet the team, because he's got a couple of tattoo shops and stuff. He was like, come meet the team and we'll go through ideas. So I went down, and it was I'm like an open guy anyway, but it was quite overwhelming because it was him, his business partner, his shop manager, his graphic designer. There was like 6 people in the shop, and I was like, a little bit taken back by it. And he was like reeling all these ideas off to me and that. And I was just like, it's my podcast, though. I don't want you to sort of, without sounding disrespectful, I don't want you to come in and step on my toes and all that. And like, he was like, I've got some mad guests who are like in the criminal underworld, but they want to wear a balaclava on screen and all that. And I was like, it's boss, people want to listen to that, but I've created a sort of avenue for my podcast. Do we want to take it down that road? So I was a little bit skeptical about it. But we kept talking, and I was like, listen, if you want, I record and produce all mine and stuff. If you want us to start, if we want to help you and start a separate project, we can. And he was like, I like your hosting abilities. Will you help me? Will you work with me and stuff? So we went and recorded our first one a few weeks back, and I recorded it, edited it all myself and all that. And it was okay, but because the guest was sort of yeah. So he wanted his face blurred out and his voice dubbed and stuff because he didn't want to be recognised. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because the guy who was on, he's a wholesale weed dealer in the UK. Like, he makes like $100,000 a month selling edibles and weed and stuff, right? So he didn't want his face and voice known.
Have you got his number?
Yeah. Any numbers like
Just speaking to me while
I need to fucking boil my hard drive, like, get rid of it, you know what I mean? But because
Put it in the microwave. Hope for the
I
best.
know someone who's done that, lad.
Eat
I'm
your
not even
SIM
messing.
card.
I'm not even messing. I know someone who's done that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Boiled the
he come home
hard
from work and his flatmate was watching like the most fucking insane porn on his laptop, and he was like, "Lad, what the fuck you doing?" It was like a woman put like a frozen mackerel up her arsehole or something. It was insane.
Put the link for that as well.
And he was like, "Lad, oh, what are you doing?" So we ripped his laptop open, took his hard drive out, and boiled it for 10 minutes, lad, to get rid of it.
Fair enough.
Fucking
That's
mad.
one way, innit?
Yeah, but because of my
Did
inexperience,
he season it like?
yeah, bit of fucking salt and pepper and all that, yeah, threw a bit of dill on at the end, and lemon and dill hard drive everywhere. And because of my inexperience with producing and podcasting and stuff, I'm learning every day.
Yeah.
So when I'm just doing a normal podcast, I'm not going to dub anyone's voice. So if this mic picks up bleed from you and stuff, it doesn't matter because we're all talking anyway. It's fine. As soon as I need to put a pitch on someone's voice, the pitch that I put, the voice change I put on that mic is picking up his voice, my voice, and it just sounded messy.
Yeah.
And I was like, it was horrible. So we couldn't air it, we couldn't produce it because it sounded crap. So we're gonna be working with this little sexy bastard here. So he's gonna. I need to speak to him. Get his head in.
And here he is, podcast. Here he is.
So yeah, so we've got the same guest coming back to do it again.
Yes.
But we're gonna work with this genius, so I need to book some time with him. Jacob, the sexy motherfucker.
Jacob from LPS,
From Liverpool Podcast.
aka.
Here we go.
Link in the
Plug
description.
it.
Should that call it the Minerva plug, lads? The plug podcast.
Did you come down here on your electric skateboard with all the equipment, lad?
Got a taxi this time, mate.
Big, massive fucking army bag and everything like that.
Well, he was bringing some stuff in, and it was only me in, and he was like, "I'm gonna come down with me with the gear." I was like, "Quite sound," and there was a lot of gear, and he always turned up to man, put like 3 things on his arms. I was like, "Lad, have you got here the whole way on your skateboard?" Like, yeah, of course. Like, how did you even fucking?
Everywhere on it, mate.
Boss, mate.
I was actually, selfishly, it was too late when I thought of it, but I thought, shall I message Jacob saying you need a lift with any of your gear and all that? Because I thought he's coming from town, so
Late now, mate.
I had a shit instead, so sorry.
So in terms of everything you do then, mate, so you're a busy guy, which is admirable. One of the first things Jacob said to us when we discussed like mutually, he was like, "Yeah, I've spoke to Gary a few times." He's like, "Mate, he's a busy guy." That is what you are,
that's
busy.
It's not always the best thing, though. Do you know what I mean? Like,
This is what we want to speak about today. So for the topic on the coaching corner this week, we thought stress. We've spoken about time management, mate. How do you manage stress? Stress management is the focus.
Do you have
of
like?
today.
Is there anything where you're like, "Oh, you've been overwhelmed with like the workload," or anything like that? How do you manage that?
Because you juggle a lot, mate.
I do juggle a lot, and it is overwhelming. I'm an angry person, so when I get stressed, I get dead angry and stuff.
Same.
I used to play rugby, and that's my release. I used to go and fucking smash into the 18-stone fellas, get battered, and have a pint, and that was me sorted. Now I don't. When I'm stressed, I dive into my laptop.
Yeah.
It's weird. So like, yeah,
Boil that hard drive.
yeah, boil that. Go to fishmongers, get some frozen mackerel when your birds asleep. No, yeah, it's a bit weird. So when I get stressed, I do more work. So like,
To channel it.
yeah, so like if I'm getting wound up with either my full-time job or the editing of a podcast, I'll do the research on my next guest because I enjoy that because it's funny. It is stressful still because like sometimes people don't get back to you and I'm like, oh shit, I've got a guest in 3 days. Why didn't you get back to me? Like I've got a guest on next week and I've messaged 47 people. No one's responded yet. And I'm like, I've actually found a business that he's related, like he's linked with, and I've emailed the business saying, get some shit on him, do you know what I mean? Like, so it's stressing me out, but it's exciting. It's like on the edge of my seat. So that sort of helps me out a little bit. Just cuddling the kids without sounding sort of cliched or anything.
Yeah.
Like, that's my problem. It's my balance between everything that I'm juggling
On your family.
and my family life. Because, like, me and my missus, like, we'll sit on the couch together. And in my mind, because we're sat 2 foot from each other, I'm spending time with her. Got my headphones on and I'm editing. But I'm not really spending time with her. I'm just sat on the
Quality
same
time.
couch. Yeah. So, that's where I need to change it a little bit. And when I do spend that quality time, all my stress goes away. So that's the sort of best thing for me. But just got to balance it all. Work-life balance, innit?
That's it, mate. Life-work balance.
Life-work balance.
So Jack, how do you tell the viewers at home? How do you manage stress during these unprecedented times?
As I've said before, mate, and I'll say it again, and it won't be the first, it won't be the last time, mate. Whatever works. You know what I mean? Obviously not on that, it'll be harmful to yourself or others.
Them
like,
numbers again.
Well,
Them
got that
numbers
number,
again.
But whatever works for you, get like, because all stress is cortisol, like the
Yeah.
stress hormone that's just rising. And
Yeah.
I've saying to Jay before, like my dad. Sorry if you're watching this, Dad. He probably won't. He's too busy being stressed. But no, he lives in stress, mate. Don't get me wrong, he's a chill guy, but like he gets like that dead quick, and I'm like, oh, just calm down. So I've grew up around stress. He's not a, wouldn't say he's a stress head.
I'm setting him in a bad light here, lad.
No, he's a stellar fella. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's my best mate.
Well, you like Stella?
No, he likes Carl.
and then bad as your mouth.
Nah, he's just, honestly my best mate. He's
You've mentioned it before.
he's one of the best people I know, if not the, after my man. But he lets stuff stress him, and my mum's just like, "Why are you letting that? Why are you allowing that?" I'm like, I was saying before to Jacob, would you say I was stressed earlier?
You didn't seem stressed. You just seemed like
Distant.
Yeah.
I had mind chatter. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm stressed, and for me, it's like meditation or going out for a walk in nature, or like just sitting down with Jay and not doing anything, like whether it's about the podcast or work or anything meaningful. You know what I mean? Just like, what you gonna talk about? Hey, you're on this, and just switching off and de-stressing.
Yeah.
So whatever works for you works in terms of de-stressing. But like one thing, the major thing is being grounded. You know what I mean? It's like, because when you stress, your head's everywhere, isn't it?
But what I find is when something stresses me out, every little thing heightens it and makes it worse.
Absolutely.
And Mel always says to me, "Why are you getting wound up about that? Like, stop it." Like something stupid. Yesterday I was cooking tea. I was stressed out. And then I was cooking tea, and like I dropped a bit of food on the floor or something, and I started fucking effing and jeffing at the floor and everything. She was like, "What are you doing, lad? Calm down."
But then if you're in the best mood ever and you drop something, you're like, get on that. Do you know what I mean? It's mad, isn't it?
My mornings, so this is what, and I'm trying to work better on it. So because of COVID and stuff, Lennon's nursery have changed their time. So I have to do
Selfish.
I have to do the nursery run because Mel's a special needs teacher. She has to be in a classroom for a certain time for the kids. So I'm the one who's changed my work hours to accommodate Lennon's nursery. So my morning starts much later now. And I find if I wake up after a certain time, I'm groggy as anything. My day goes to shit. But then I'm struggling at the minute. I'm fighting, saying, well, if I wake up really early when I'm normally waking up, I don't leave the house for another hour and a half, 2 hours. I find myself sitting around, and I'm having a mental battle at the minute where I should be working out, I should be reading, I should be meditating of some sort, because I want to improve my mental state. I want to improve my fitness, my lifestyle. But I say I'm lazy. I'm making excuses all the time. But I heard something, I think it was yesterday, and it was like, if you win your morning, you win your day. Like your morning sets it up massively.
Absolutely.
And I was like, I need to improve my mornings, because if I have a clean morning, I reckon my day the stress will be reduced by 90%.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Because I have a groggy morning, and then I'm a cunt in work all
on
day.
that, mate, naturally you wake up stressed anyway. So when you wake up first thing in the morning, unless you're like off Snow White where it's like birds are coming in and that, you'll have them mornings now.
Loads of little midgets running around.
You put your dressing gown on, and that doesn't happen, does it? It does now and again. Like
the butler comes in when you're gone, that'd be great, wouldn't it?
happens in your flat in Barbados.
On Pornhub.
But that's like very rare that you'll wake up like that feeling refreshed. 99 times out of 100 you wake up stressed, because in order for your body to wake up, cortisol increases. So when you wake up, you'll feel the knot of anxiety in your stomach. So I used to wake up anxious and be like, oh my god, I'm anxious, not realising your body's just being to wake up, and this cortisol will arise. So taking a few deep breaths of a morning, first thing in the morning, that'll just bring your cortisol back to earth, because oxygen counteracts your cortisol.
Is that what morning wood is? Cortisol going to your penis? It's a rising.
Rather than waking up so abruptly, there's an app called Sleep Cycle where it wakes you up in your lightest sleep,
mate.
so you don't feel
So
that.
it's not like a big shock to the system.
Yeah, I tried it and I used the app for years. And it was free, and then all of a sudden they started putting a paywall behind it. So
Or
sorries.
put a light. I have that salt lamp.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I don't have two. I use that in the bedroom and in here. I've got bills to pay, okay? So I take that. I have that on like a plug timer, and it comes on at like 6. So then I usually wake up before my alarm, because vitamin D and light, if your body wakes up to light before noise. So light on your skin and your eyes will naturally make you wake up before noise will. So a light alarm is tenfold 10 times better. Than
None of that
ours.
would work for me. You know,
Do you need like an aggressive alarm? Do you?
I had to sleep through an earthquake. Honestly,
I'm weird, right? And I don't know why. So my alarm's aggressive. It's like a full-on foghorn, right? It's horrible, yeah. But I need that to wake me up. But then my missus is the opposite. So she has a vibrating alarm, right? And she puts it in between the legs.
I turned up. He went,
Ali G set that to vibrate and finish yourself off and all that. But she sets like fucking 460 alarms in the morning, right? And she sets it from like 4 a.m. up until like 6 for 2 hours.
Yeah.
And I can just hear it going, zzz, zzz, and it wakes me up, and she's just like that. And I'm like, fucking wake up, you don't know about turn your vibrations off. But if I don't have a dead violet one on my phone, it doesn't wake me up. I don't know what it is, because that's waking me up. Is that because I'm stressed and just pissed off for their phone? Do you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
But going on next to our topic of the week. So top of the week, we decided yet again for the audio listeners at home to put our hands together. Synergy. We're bringing the Now Then podcast to the Minerva podcast.
Okay.
I guess what it is.
Go on.
Name your price. So I'll start off. Okay.
Go on then.
I'm going to start off with one thing.
What?
June 21st.
June 21st.
Do you know what happened June 21st?
Social distancing.
This is when
Everywhere open.
Out the window.
everything's open.
Everything.
Okay, so you found a lovely little studio in town. You're like, yes, I want to take this. I want to have it. It's a bit expensive. You can't really afford it.
Yeah.
For the whole year, you
Go
get
on.
the studio for free.
Yeah.
But you've got to go out on June the 21st completely naked. And you've got to be out from 9 o'clock till at least 4 in the
Does that
morning.
anyway every year.
And a mask on. Nothing but a mask.
No, fuck the mask. They want people to know who you are. You would, yeah?
After we finish filming, I'll show you the alternative picture that I was going to bring to that. 100%. I will happily get my budgie claw out anywhere. Not asked.
Okay.
It's tiny, but I'm not asked. Listen,
But imagine June the 21st is going to be a busy night out.
it's shocking, yeah. The only thing, right, the only negative thing about that is the backlash from my bed. That's all it is. I'm not asked by anyone looking at
It's
me.
not the backlash you
What
know.
Now Then podcast stickers on your cock.
Yeah. You could probably use fucking a quarter of it, lads. You know what I mean? Listen, Phil's a pram, do you know what I mean? That's when it
He
does.
goes to the kids, you know what I mean? It's
Does fill up.
Yeah. So you had a what? All day?
all day.
That was an easy one.
I would as well.
Yeah.
You go out all night.
Listen,
naked.
I know how much a studio costs him, mate. If I'm
Listen,
getting that for free and
I
that
wouldn't-
studio's sick,
Going out naked from bar to bar, you've got to go in everywhere.
I
wouldn't
will.
get in,
I
lads.
will. Yeah, I won't get in.
No Hugo Boss.
Listen, everyone's
Just a pair of 110s.
Not even worse, you've got to stand in the street, everyone taking photos and videos of you.
Free rent.
You're probably still getting into Counter Square over someone with 110s.
Lad,
But you've
I'm
just
not-
let him in,
Listen,
isn't that? Yeah, he hasn't got 110s.
I would walk around for the whole of the 21st of June naked, and then I will record the podcast every single week for the rest of the year naked. I'm not arsed. I'm getting the studio for free. Sorted.
Well,
Oh, well, that's fucking my one.
Go on then.
Mine was gonna be. Oh, let me recalibrate here, mate. Because mine was.
let me
gonna
go
be-
for the piss. What's your
So
question?
mine was gonna be then. Okay, so I don't know, because mine, you don't mind being naked, mate. So that was mine.
We've got to make it sexual, and haven't we probably?
Just whatever you want.
Okay, so
Okay, I've got a good one for you.
go on.
Skinhead, beard off, and a wax of your legs, chest, and arms. For this off the top of my head. How much? Somebody give me a price.
See, it's hard. 'cause
Somebody give me a price in the
I'm
room.
skint, so it's hard. I am.
30 quid.
After our meeting, I went through my finances with a fine tooth comb, and I made myself sick. I was like, I just hide things.
Best place to start.
But
though,
the beard,
getting it
though.
all up.
What do you spend most of your money on? Like, that you shouldn't.
Edibles of this fella.
Food. Well, no. So the most of the
You've
money's
got
on.
4 mouths.
The most of the money's like on hysterical debts from the past.
Yeah.
Like when I was younger, I got like loans and credit cards. I was like, I'm not fucking paying you back. You're not asked. Like max them all. Like try and catch me. And then like when I'm an adult now, I'm responsible for kids and like mortgage and all that. And I'm like, hey, you can have a phone on contract. They're like, no, you can't because you're always 40 grand. You're dickhead. I'm like that. Sorry. So it's just all from when I was a dickhead when I was younger.
So,
But the beard,
listen, we can get rid of this debt here. Let's think of something.
the beard is horrible. I can't.
So, beard, hair, arms, legs, whilst you're out in town. It's a live event.
Getting waxed in front of everyone and all
Get
that.
waxed in front of
See, the thing is,
and then you're out
there's a
after it.
video on YouTube if I get my ass waxed somewhere. Yeah. When I was younger, my brother's bird's a beautician, and she was like, for a bet, she was like, "Let me wax your ass." I was like, "Yeah,
And
go ahead."
video it.
Yeah, so they videoed it and put it on YouTube. I don't know if it's my brothers took it down or not.
Sounds more like
when
RedTube, that means.
Yeah, but it was, but I was only about fucking 19 and I've got like this little skinny face like that on the video.
Have to find that for the edit.
Yeah. But
Pull it up, Jacob.
the beard one's horrible because like I done Movember 2 years ago and I shaved it all off and started a big muzzy and I didn't realise how many chins were behind this beard.
And you've defo failed your CRB check, didn't you?
Mate, yeah. I was on the screen in your uni, mate, you know what I mean? What's wrong in this video? Your fucking fat face, you fat ginger knobhead, you know what I mean?
Here's one then.
Go on.
So, what's the dream with the radio station? With the radio, what's your dream if you could have anything?
Right now, my dream.
If you had to work for like a
If my boss is listening, I'm sorry, but you're a fucking knobhead. I'm grateful. I've worked hard to get where I am in terms of my job. I'm a manufacturing engineer. I earn a good wage, but I love this. I love the podcast, the radio, the media. I love meeting new people. I want to earn a living from this.
Yes.
Don't have to have the same wage because I'm now, even though I've got debts from the past. I can't say the word. I don't know what the word is. Historical debts. One of the lads in our work started talking to a supplier on the phone about the history of a piece of equipment, and he was like, the histrionics of this piece of equipment, and I was like, that means tantrum, the machine's not throwing a tantrum. It's not histrionics, you dickhead. So I was scared to say that then. Yeah, so I'm at a point in life now, yes, even though I have debts, I'm not asked about having the same wage because it's all about work-life balance, satisfaction, happiness. Yeah. If I earn enough money to put food on the table for my kids, I'm happy. Do you know what I mean? So my long-term goal is to leave the job I'm in and earn a living from
doing what you're doing now.
Podcast, radio, talking crap.
You can have all that and more. You've got more than enough family time, more than enough money. All your debts are paid off, lads. Minted. But there's a snail.
It sounds like me. Set you up.
And then when this snail touches you or anyone you love,
I've heard this, by the way, already.
They die. But it's slow, like a snail would be. So you can get on a plane, fly across the world, lads. But there's this snail
chasing you everywhere.
And you can't kill it, mate.
Mate, I'd get the fucking salt all over it.
No, you can't. Lad.
You can't?
In a glass box.
Yeah, but it'll get out, lads. Do you know, there's a way.
It's a snail, lads.
It's
Do you know what I mean? They get out of these things.
It's
they fucking do.
They do, mate. So you can have that and more. But there's a snail and it'll... That's no
anyone
lad, you could be shattered.
You 10 years later, lad, you could
You're
be
a kid.
You could be at Lennon's 30th, lad, forgetting all about this. For
10 years
Your
time.
nemesis.
Is Matt's boss in it?
No, 10 years, you're then well past it, mate.
You could break down on the way to Harry Potter world.
Yeah, you'd forget about the snail, mate, because you're a made man, and then you just see
this stuff.
Shit. I forgot that it sold. Me sold to Jack.
Is it a normal snail or is it the
snail?
movie Turbo, lad, in it?
No, it's just a normal pace snail, lad, but it
anyone it
doesn't
touches dies.
Anyone you love, it touches dies.
Well, I don't know many. I don't know.
That's you's fucked then.
Okay, just you.
Because I love yous.
Just you. Thank you, mate. But I don't want us to die.
No, if it's people that I love, no.
But
I couldn't put my kids or my birds through that.
I've not spoken.
And ask my mad, no,
I've
that's
not
just finished. She is?
I've not spoken to anyone, lad, who's ever said to me, the snail touched me today. I'd never come up
It's violating though, innit? It's pure.
But this is...
Because you've got to be in some state to allow a snail to touch you. Because that's slow.
Sleeping.
Lad, you could be asleep.
Imagine going right across your head.
Just
sleep. You might go
See, if I woke up with snail slime on my face, my first thought wouldn't be, oh, a snail's being on my head. I'd be like, that's my bed. You've been sitting on my face. You know what I mean? Fucking snails everywhere. Champagne stains all over your nose and all that.
If this snail touched you, mate, you'd wake up dead.
You wouldn't wake up, would you?
You'd wake up in a box, lad.
Right. No, if it's me, I wouldn't be asked.
But you've set your family up and you've got your life how you want it for you and them.
Yeah, that's what it sets up then. I've got a decent pension as well.
Yeah.
So my pension now is... Well, I wouldn't be doing the job, man, would I, though?
Forget about
that's the
finances,
thing.
though, Gary. Pleasure of doing all this, meeting new people. You could be
I couldn't.
You could be
you're
on the
Radio 1 and
like
that, lad.
Charlemagne the God, the breakfast
lad,
club.
you're on fucking Good Morning Britain.
Oh, lad, you're the new Annie Mac. Gary Mac, the new Annie Mac. You know she's retired.
The new Chris Evans.
But lad, you'd be on Radio 1, all of that.
You could be the next Harry Garland.
you hire a bodyguard to constantly?
If you want that, but if you love,
Imagine you going to a fucking bodyguard agency going, hey, any chance to protect me from this fucking little slimy knob?
And they jump at the opportunity though. That's an easy wage, isn't it?
but they're dead then because they're associated together.
What if I don't love them?
So
You might grow to love
I
them,
couldn't.
lads.
If it's family and stuff, no, I couldn't. I couldn't do
but
that
if
to
it
my
was
kids
just
and all
you-
that. Yeah.
Jacob,
but
do you have
doing
one?
it.
What?
Do you have one?
Do I have a what?
Oh,
Name
what?
your price for
Name
Gary.
your price.
Snail.
That's what I wanted to ask you before.
No, I've never heard of that. I didn't know this was a thing.
Well, you learn something.
Watch me fucking podcast. Then. We had a meeting and he wants to produce me podcast and he was like, watch it then. Okay, now
I've
lad.
got time fucking coming out of my arse, mate.
I'll just send you clips. He did say to me, you need to work on your clips, so I'll just clip you.
Thank you, bro. Take my advice.
No, so I have a section where I try and think of horrible questions and I ask people, are they willing to do things for a payout? So
He asked Jack if for a new car, he got a new car every day. Was it a new car every day?
Yeah, there was no price. It was just the car of your dreams every day. Whatever car you want, you can have it insured. But at the end of the day, you've got to drive it into St. George's Hall at like 40 mile an hour. Just slam it into the side of the building.
And I struggled to see what I was getting out of that. Other than whiplash.
Should we think of one for Jacob?
But then I did in the end.
Should we think of one for
I
Jacob?
thought you have to like put a number of money.
Yeah, you do,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But then eventually you come to that one.
So I normally put money against it, but then if you can get whatever, you can get a Bugatti Veyron every day, so you don't have to buy it. You can have a brand new
Tesla,
car.
mate.
It's still financial. You can have whatever car you want, but your deal is you got to smash it up at the end of the night. I asked the guest last week, so I asked him all his money questions, and the last one was house of your dreams. You can get your mortgage paid in full. So there's your cash side of it, your mortgage paid in full, but you can only enter and exit through the top window, and you can't use ladders. So you've got to jump out the window or climb up the drain pipe.
I'd love to do that, bro.
Yeah, get a slide.
It would be imagine taking a bear back to yours. And you'd be like,
Don't ask why. but we've gotta go.
don't ask why, but we can't use the front door today.
Get on, girl.
Mad.
Jump up.
Forgot my keys every time. Oh, I forgot my keys again.
But yeah, that was our top of the week anyway. But going on now,
To the album.
album of the week.
Ooh.
So
album.
usually I do the album of the week, but this week I said to Jack because it was a lot more relatable for him because it was.
And he's a lazy bastard.
Yeah.
I'm only messing. he heard me listening to it right and went, is this the album of the week? I won't be listening to that.
I didn't say it wouldn't be
Mr.
listening.
Hip-hop hater over here.
He's not a lazy bastard, he's a hard worker. Sorry, Jay, shouldn't have said that.
No.
Mate.
Do you know what?
He'll
Miss-
just chin me later, that.
He's been sorting out your insurance problems for smashing to St. George's Hall. That's what it is.
So,
So what was the album of the week?
The album of the week this week was 12 Questions by Future Utopia.
Yes.
Did you enjoy?
Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Same, it was great, man.
It was. Can we turn his camera off? He's not part of this bit.
Blur it.
It's different. Really, really intriguing. I don't know what it is. Like, there's something about Idris Elba's voice
Yeah.
that gives me a proper twitch.
Hang
Like,
on, no one mentioned it himself.
so he does the voiceover in some of the tracks on the song.
He's featured on the track.
And what the voiceover's like? Is it
So
like,
the album is each song. It has audio and visuals to watch with
Does
it as
it?
well. You know,
Ah, okay.
animations. Yes, you're meant to watch it.
it's got Easter eggs apparently.
Easter eggs within them all. Yeah, so there's animations.
I'm
And
trying to lose weight.
each song is like a social commentary
I was a slow burn of that.
on like the world in which we're living in. And so like Dave's got to tune children of the internet.
Yeah.
And the little interlude before that where the girl's talking about like, on average, the average human touches, pinches, swipes their phone 1 million times a year. It's like
Yeah.
the mobile phone is a connection device, but it actually disconnects the human from
It's
the
like
environment.
actually, I
subliminal
remember
messages and all that. innit?
The average human gets touched by a snail once in their life.
Not bad.
But yeah, it was good. I enjoyed
Very,
it.
very intriguing. So when I was talking before we started about the meeting I had in work and stuff in the workshop I was working on, so when they were boring me, I just put a headphone in and I was just engaged and just engrossed by this album. It was unbelievable.
Piece of art, innit?
Yeah, it is. That's
It's-
exactly what it is. And the fella, what's his name? Future Utopia, but it's someone Fraser T. Very, very talented. He's worked on the likes of Adele
Doing
and
research
stuff.
for
like
me.
that.
Yeah,
He's worked on the likes of Adele and all that. And my guest last week had an affair with Fraser T's brother's fella. Oh, man's not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about Easter eggs.
Yeah. There's an Easter egg going around there.
Love
Yeah,
that, mate. Yeah, he's done Stormzy's album, Dave
Yeah.
Psychodrama, all that. Talented.
I see. I went on his website and it's got like I've been involved in like something stupid like 27 #1 albums or something
Wow,
ridiculous. And I was like,
fucking hell.
that's He's talented.
That's
Talented.
some
Brought
going on.
all
But you
them
can-
together.
But just from the looks of that album, synergy. Oh.
Idris Elba, Dave.
Well, if you just look at the people on the album, like he's got the lead singer from Bastille on it and everything. Like,
I know, it's mad, isn't it?
you must be someone to be able to pull all these heads
people
in.
together,
Yeah, so they
yeah.
respect him as a producer, as an artist.
Yeah.
To be like, yeah, I'm going to work on this project because it's not mainstream.
Yeah.
It's different, you
It's
know what I mean?
obscure, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just sorry to just completely change subject, but it's about Bastille. The loudest I've ever heard of a tent or anywhere at a festival
Yeah.
is for Bastille when they play Pompeii.
Really? Boss tune that.
Oh,
But it
was when it
reminds
first
me
came
bad
out.
of when I was a knobhead and like fucking, and I weren't like a boss boyfriend, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So she plays it, and I love that song, but it reminds us of when I was a prick, and I was like, oh, fucking hell, he's having shit memories of songs.
Yeah, it's mad. I was saying this to Jonesy today, like, it's so transcendental music. Like, I can hear the first, like, 4 beats of a tune I love.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
What was that when I done? It was literally like, I went, oh, this is this, and it was.
Yeah, and he knew it, yeah.
My bird hates that though, because I do that. I'll hear
I do.
one tune,
I hear like a
one
little
beat,
tiny
one
bit.
note, and I'm like, oh, I love this song.
Remember
She's
that
like,
oldie when we were here?
yeah, she's like, I go, oh, I love this song. She goes, shut the fuck up. Let me listen to the song first.
Yeah.
Why are you just like saying that? I'm like, oh, I can't help it.
Boss. What's your album then, mate?
So I was divided. So sorry.
Like that picture?
Yeah. I love all genres of music, like your 570 fucking different genres or whatever it was.
Hip hop.
Yeah. But the albums that I was sort of toying over are all hip hop
What's up?
based albums. So
That's me doing the
I had
album of the
two-
week next week as
yeah.
well.
So I had two artists in mind. I had Logic and
Yeah.
NF.
Okay.
So I'm going with NF, right? I think he's got 3 studio albums and a mixtape out. I'm gonna go with his second studio album. It's called The Search.
I haven't listened to it. So.
Have you listened to it? Have you
I
heard
know
of any?
NF, yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, but I haven't heard. I may have heard. a
So he's
tune
had
of
like
it.
one mainstream song out, but like his first album's called Therapy Sessions. His second album's called The Search. That's the one I'm wanting to listen to. He raps about sort of real life issues and problems. Like The Search is all about fighting with mental health and his mental state and all that, and fighting his demons. And the whole album is just like a journey about his mental state. It's really, really intriguing. It's a good listen.
The hip hop I do like, I don't like. I'll shoot you nan and I'll
Yeah.
batter whoever.
I'll
and
fucking kill you with a
I'm
snail.
motherfucking G and
He
I'm
likes conscious rap.
I like the conscious stuff with it means something. It's not,
Yeah.
So like
It's
I'm
got to be a
intrigued by the
lyrical
sort of
mastermind, isn't it?
yeah, 100%. Like
And the other artist said Logic, his earlier stuff, I was on board with, loved it. Like one of his albums is all like it's a story, and he creates this about like in the future about like invading planets, and that's the whole story of the album. But there's a meaning to it, and it's interesting. His later stuff, he's just
trap shit.
he doesn't want to be like a mumble rapper or anything, but he's sort of following the
That's-
curve a little bit. So,
That is,
but-
for me, it is Sonic ear rape.
yeah. NF is all real life. Look at his face.
Sonic ear rape. I describe it as.
Wow. I hope he never wants to come on the podcast, mate, because that's him.
No, I mean mumble rap.
I'm only messing. I know.
And if you're listening, Logic, you shit.
Lens a 10 a lot.
Should we talk about him today? Feel bad for this. There's a band called Everything. You
Yeah.
might, I don't know if you've heard of them, but you might recognise some of the tunes.
Is everything? Is that the ones where they did the video on the treadmills? Who was that?
Don't know. But anyway, these were playing, and I bought a ticket because all my mates were going. I didn't really like them that much, so we've turned up on the day. Everyone is in there. And
Everything.
Everyone was in there, and they went. We've had to cancel the gig, so everyone was like, "Oh, sound." So we got our money back. So I've left the gig anyway, and I've messaged them on Twitter saying, "Made up everything gig's been cancelled." They've got a song called "Come Alive, Diana."
Yeah.
I went, "Come Alive, Diana" is shit anyway. And then they put a tweet about 10 minutes later saying they had to cancel the gig due to health issues, and that. I felt terrible, you know.
You know that.
Troll, mate. Yeah. That's what he is, a troll.
You're
Nasty.
horrible. I hope that fucking snail gets you, lad.
That's a good, I'm excited to listen to
I
that
know,
album,
might have listened to it tonight.
Get on it, yeah. Honestly, like it's
Do you want to know? Sorry.
go on. It can be heavy at
Do you want to know
times.
something I learned on the weekend?
What did you learn
Something
on the
proper
weekend?
mad.
Go on.
So we went to that gig, Blossoms.
Yeah.
And speaking to Jay's girlfriend's lovely family, just about music in general, and one of her cousins was like, "Do you know something mad? Uncle sang. Blossoms done Because You're Gorgeous into like Wonderwall, was it? Or into something like a little.
That one.
Yeah, just an acoustic,
Yeah,
a few chords. because you, and everyone was like, yes. And then I was like, how boss was that? And Christina's cousin was like, but you know something mad, their uncle sang that song. And I was like,
Where's your uncle?
Stop it.
Good genes, mate.
That
Good
was a
genes.
one-hit wonder as well, wasn't it?
yeah.
Yeah.
Who sang it?
I couldn't tell you.
Steven something, I don't know, he's from Sheffield or something.
Madness, innit?
But
yeah,
I'd do
I'm-
anything
I'm
for
excited.
you. Like Shower Jack and yours.
Yes! Get the exfoliating cream. I'll get the Manuka honey out, lad.
But there's actually Manuka honey in our shower, and I was like, Jacob moved into
When Jacob comes round and after he's sweating after bringing all his gear on his skateboard.
Should we do the dad jokes? Have you got any dad? Yeah, I've got loads of dad
I
jokes.
haven't, you know. I was going to
2 bucks
research.
there,
I was going to research some, and I didn't.
The one you had before was Boss as well, lads. The one you read out before.
Oh, yeah. What was it? I've started a band called 999 Megabytes. We haven't had the gig yet.
Shit.
Nailed.
Love it. The one about dying inside.
Who came between Mr. D and Mr. F? It's a Mr. E.
Oh, what? That's the joke.
Now I get it.
Now I get it,
Now I
yeah?
get it.
The last person to say that just went Mr. E.
Who came between Mr. D and Mr. F? Mr. E. What's this joke?
That's no D and F and the D and F.
Don't get that.
And I was like, don't get it, but
Yeah.
it's a mystery.
It's a mystery.
That makes so
Now
much
I
more
get
sense,
it.
doesn't it? I thought it was like the 6, 7.
Who said that last time?
Well, the last episode,
Lee,
that's
wasn't
Lee,
it?
yeah.
Mate,
Why
we-
is 6 afraid of 7? Because 7, 8, 9. It reminded me of that.
Lee, it's all about the
We
delivery,
were all
mate.
so confused.
We're like,
We're like, yeah, anyway. Any other ones in there?
This is boss, this. I like rice. Rice is great when you're hungry and you want 2,000 of something. Thanks to autocorrect, 1 in 5 children will be getting a visit from Satan this Christmas. What the f*** is that, Sue?
that was like fucking sponsor us on the telly. Like, pay £5 now.
I think that's a misprint. That shouldn't be in this book. That sounds like his fucking Dalai Lama one. Do you know what I mean? The delivery was impeccable. One, you get one? Here's a
Come
book.
on. Yeah, J Mac wrote the book. At Dad Says Jokes.
I said it once. I'll say it again.
Why are ancient history lecturers boring? They tend to babble on. I'll be using that one.
Which one's your favourite? The blue or the orange?
So, you know, that,
The orange
we
one
need
is
to cross
better.
them out. Like,
Yeah.
just say
The
the
orange
same.
one is better. Because
It's the OG, that.
Ah, this is you. My wife has leave me because I'm going bald. I'm not bothered though. It's hair loss.
Belt to me.
it's only ginger jokes in
Yeah, should be able to get an abortion.
Oh, mate.
We'll do one more. We'll finish on this. What?
I hope this is a stinker. They're good ones, them usually, the big
Yeah.
ones.
They're all shit.
I can see the cogs turning in his head.
Yeah.
I'll just say this one I said before. I've been taking Viagra for my sunburn. It doesn't cure it, but it helps get the sheets off my legs.
Shit, mate.
I've got Viagra in work if you need it.
Cortisol, mate. Does the job.
Fucking hell. Get me edibles, Viagra, lads. Get it all.
The man for everything. Right,
But yeah,
Gary,
on that note, thank you very much.
It was an absolute pleasure, boys.
anything you want to plug?
Yeah, me fucking asshole after that. No, so you can. So, Now Then podcast with Gary Hyland on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all the major platforms. Because I'm a proper little podcast slag, I just clicked on everything on directories.
Yes.
On Instagram, it's Now Then podcast. I can't remember if there's an underscore in there or not.
Don't you stop what?
Yeah,
Now underscore then
underscore podcast. Yeah, get it on the screen.
And if you see him playing any gigs or anything like
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
throw shit at him.
Yeah.
Honest to God.
Dad
Yeah.
has just told you he hasn't had a gig yet.
No, boom. I've got a couple lined up. Couple in June. I'm actually doing like 2 days down in Brighton at the Brighton Fringe Festival.
Nice.
Boss, mate, well done.
Yeah, so it's a busy week that week. I'm in Chesterfield Thursday night, Brighton Friday, Saturday. So yeah.
Yeah, we'll come and see you. Maybe not in Brighton, like, but one a bit more. Have you got any more local?
I've got 4 in Liverpool lined
Yeah,
up.
let us know. That's defo.
In June, July and August, and then I've got 1 in Wigan and 1 in Manchester. So not a lot, but I've got
Got
a
between
few.
and Wigan, unfortunately.
No,
Got loads of
we'll
pies
get
everywhere.
that, definitely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But
Lovely jubbly.
thank you very much, Gary,
That's
and
a
that's
wrap.
Dan.
That's a wrap. Thank you very much.
Never believe